Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Hanukkah, first night of Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. And we're not quite ready for Happy New Year yet, but hope everybody's getting ready. Let me shout out to everybody. And if one of you or more of you can tell me if you're on, if you can hear me, that would be fantastic. I think I got the sync right. I was playing a lot with it beforehand, and then right before it was a little bit out. Okay. So anyway, let me give a shout out to a few people. There's Matt. Hi, Matt. Always good to see you. And Matt asked a question when recording your songs. What do you use? I'll get back to that one in just a second. Um, El Rondo, hey, hello. And El Rondo, thank you for posting that recording that you did of that, the Django stuff, the Hot Club of France stuff. That was really great. I loved it. Let's see, Nemo Unknown, hello to you. Merry Christmas to you. All right. And let's see who's else on. Ron, hey, Ron, good to see you. We missed your jokes the last couple weeks. Studio Deluxe, hello. P, hello to you. And happy Sunday. Yeah. Santa. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. My hair's getting longer on the top, too. Mark Siebes, hey, hello. RMG, what's up? What's up with you? And Robbie Love, good to see you. We've got a few people on. We've got 14 people on. So anyway, I just want to wish everybody a happy Hanukkah. Today is the first night of Hanukkah, so happy Hanukkah tonight if you celebrate that. And Merry Christmas. Obviously, Wednesday is Christmas, and so we're going to be seeing that as well. Hey, Dave, Three Card Monty, good to see you as well. Glad you could make it today. So, thank you, El Rondo. So today we are going to do a couple of different things today involving the somewhat provocative and ridiculous title, Did Led Zeppelin Steal Christmas? I got that idea from, hello, Stephen Collette. Love the longer hair. Thanks, Ron. And grow it like Billy Gibbons. I'm not sure. We'll see. All right. Anyway, I got the idea, about all these videos about did Led Zeppelin steal spirits. I think it's called Taurus or something like that. And it is pretty interesting, right? If you just take it at face value, if these were the only two songs that existed, you have Taurus, which sounds like something like this. Something like that. And Zeppelin, let me take off the delay here. So Zeppelin obviously sounds right. So if those were the only two songs that existed, you'd say, well, yeah, whatever song came first, obviously the second one ripped it off. The thing is, it looks like it's freezing now. That's not good. That's really not good. That's the interweb and YouTube. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're back. Hopefully it didn't get too out of sync or anything like that. That pisses me off that YouTube did that. All right. Anyway, great. Glad it's working okay. And anyway, if those were the only two songs that existed, you'd probably say, yeah, one of them ripped off the other. But, actually Rick Beato has a great video on this, and let me just read it, He calls this a line cliche, but we've all heard it. Whatever you call it in music, it is a cliched line, this idea of... It's in a lot of songs. That's in Michelle, right? And it's also in My Funny Valentine, which is an older song than either of those. Both of those are older songs, Michelle and My Funny Valentine. And as he points out, it's also in Duke Ellington's In a Sentimental Mood. But what I wanted to point out is there are a couple of things that are very different, and why I think that it's absolutely ridiculous that Led Zeppelin, on this song of all songs, because definitely they borrowed things pretty heavily and didn't give a lot of credit. I'm not letting them off the hook for A Whole Lot of Love and for Black Mountainside, but on Stairway, it's different. And we know that not only was Jimmy Page a student of the blues and a student of the skiffle and stuff like that, but he obviously heard the same things that McCartney did and other people growing up. But Zapp was also fond of like old English music, and I believe that he got, if you look at the difference between Spirit, which is like this, right? Led Zeppelin is different. It has counterpoint in it. It has not only this line, it has this line, right? Now, if I just played that, you might say, oh, that's obviously Stairway to Heaven, but you would be dead wrong, because if you want to carry it up on the top voice instead of the bottom voice, you get a traditional Christmas song called Coventry Carol, which is a 16th century English song, no doubt, that's based on the or the Book of Matthew, or the Gospel of Matthew. And Coventry Carol is kind of a dirge that's sung by the mothers of the dead children of Herod killing all the firstborn or something like this, right? So, or killing all the male children that were born that night, as the story goes, but or as the tale goes. Now, it's not usually played in A minor, it's usually played in a different key. But if you hear that, you'd think, yeah, that's Stairway to Heaven, isn't it? So to me, I think there's a lot of influences going on there, and I think it's pretty cool. I really think it's actually cool that Led Zeppelin added that top line, and they get the counterpoint going, as well as just that bottom line of bass. For the record, just because it's Christmas, I'm going to play Coventry Carol for you, a version that I know. I'm going to play it in G minor because it's nice, and it's more of a solemn hymn than a ho-ho jolly Christmas hymn, but we'll play it. Let's see. So I'm playing it in G minor. Pretty, right? I like that. Anyway, so that's that for the Christmas music. Yeah, it's really nice. I always loved that as a kid. I had to play that for a recital once, and I always remembered that. And when I heard Stairway to Heaven, I was like, I know that. I know how to play that. So, anyway, let me catch up a little bit on that, and we're going to switch back to rock and roll quickly. I want to take Matt's question, because Matt asked about, I have to go all the way back. How do I record? So I will show that. But that's kind of a longish answer. On the On the interweb, where I asked for questions before here, I got a question. What is your favorite Led Zeppelin song, lick, and album? Boy, that's a tough. Those are tough three questions to pick one, but I'm going to try and do that. And it's really hard to pick one favorite. Led Zeppelin is one of my top two or three favorite bands. Hey, GMAC and Elf, nice to hear you. Thank you, Ron. And Tone Seeker, hello to you. Um, all right. So, yeah. So, what's my favorite Led Zeppelin album? Let's start with that. That one's the easiest one for me. My favorite Led Zeppelin album, hands down, is Led Zeppelin 2. While I love their later stuff, I love 4, and I love their later stuff too, which was more sort of musically rich in terms of complexity. I just love that combination of simple rock and just with a hard edge on Led Zeppelin 2. Just love it. So that's my favorite. Probably, I don't know, boy, my favorite song, Led Zeppelin song now. That's even tougher. There's so many that I could pick. I love when the levee breaks. I love this. I love a lot of their songs, like "Going to California," um, and some other things off of "Houses of the Holy." But I guess I'd probably pick also something from Led Zeppelin 2. I'd probably pick "Whole Lotta Love," just because of the moment right after they have that weird break with the drums and the guitar coming in. That's such an awesome high point. But it's tough. That one's tougher. And then my favorite Led Zeppelin lick. Uh, I don't know if it's really a lick, but my favorite solo of Jimmy Page is probably "Since I've Been Loving You." I love that song, and I just love his play on that one. So, anyway, lots of good stuff. Hey, Geert is on today. Good to see you. What's with the Brill Cream? I have no Brill Cream on, buddy. Scooter, good to see you. Oh, Phil M. Hey. Yeah, imagine all the lawsuits there. Huh. It is really a tough one. Oh, Black Dog. Yeah, that's a great one, too. Black Dog is a good one. Maybe we can come back to that question at the very end, because I've got some other stupid rock and roll questions. So I think, did Led Zeppelin steal Christmas music? Obviously they didn't, right? But I just do think it's cool that Coventry Carol has this similarity with Stairway to Heaven, and I choose to think that they probably knew that and were influenced by it, and I just think that's cool. I love it. Okay, all right. El Rondo's on the Pedal Show stream. That is so cool. Is that right? Awesome. Well, I'll have to check. I'll have to check you out on that. El Rondo also sent me a beautiful recording of him playing, you know, Django Reinhardt, Hot Club of France swing type music, complete with a jazzy violinist. It was great, and his play was awesome on it. Really great stuff. Okay. All right, so let's get into the thing. I did want to answer Matt's question. So, how do I record? Well, the short answer is it really varies a lot. Um, but I'll tell you, I use a program called OBS, and I use mostly webcams. I don't use like a DSLR camera. I don't use anything fancy, just because it takes so much more time to then edit and put the sound together. With OBS and webcam, I can have the sound and the picture together, which is great. I have a musical interface or an audio interface that I plug in directly into the computer. It goes in a USB port, and then it's a Behringer UMC something, and then I just have condenser mics that I mic either my voice. That's pretty obvious. You see that, or directly amp the mic and amp. I don't go direct into the computer. I don't play it direct. I record via a microphone, And if I have a backing track, I'll play that on a separate thing and mic that as well. And that is it. And on the live shows, I just use this, which is which is the toner something or other. I just started using this one. I kind of like it because it has a little control in the front I can do. All right. So I don't know. Let me catch up a little bit on some of the commentary. And I think a lot of it was on the Led Zeppelin. We can talk about that maybe to end it up too. What's your favorite Led Zeppelin? Hey, I'm gonna be a kind of a YouTube a YouTube jerk right now. I've been watching so many. I'm gonna try and live up to what they all tell you to do. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that like 18 times in every video. So I learned that watching YouTube this week. All right, so there you have it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, let's see. Hey, El Rondo, thank you. I'm hoping for your comment that you said you didn't. TPS is your second favorite guitar channel. I'm hoping that was to me. Thank you if that was. A man can hope. Thank you, Garrett. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Ron told me I'm supposed to say click on the bell to be notified also. But you know what? Don't click on the bell if it annoys you, because I sometimes do that and I get annoyed, and then I'll actually unsubscribe from somebody. So I don't really care if you click the bell. I do appreciate it when you show up. I really do. I like it. Okay, I'm going to try something different. We're going to try another backing track, and I'm going to try and improvise over it. Let's do that. Oh, I forgot to say, actually, and I want to make sure I can find this on the camera. So I'm going to look at the other screen where I've got it. I spent a lot of time working on this guitar this week because the trem system, I've been wanting to play more tremolo. And the trem system on this, when I set up the guitar last time, you're supposed to set it up parallel. So I set it up parallel to the guitar. It's a floating trem. And when I did, it stopped work. It started getting really sticky, and everything was always going out of tune. So I tried to figure out why, and I learned a few things about PRS trims. First of all, all that stuff that they tell you about these screws, never unscrew them and they're set perfectly. Don't believe that BS. That's a bunch of BS. If you need to adjust it, go ahead and adjust it. But anyway, I spent some time, trying to work with the claw and tighten this stuff up. You'll notice that it's a big block, though. That's one of the first things I noticed when I looked in this, compared to like Fender, a lot of Fender stuff. If you don't modify, it's a smaller block, and especially, this is definitely a weak point of the cheaper guitars, is they have a kind of a crummy tremolo block. There's a big block of steel that's in there. That's probably, so I didn't want to remove that. But what I found was that it was rubbing on this and it was out of line. And when I looked really closely, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to try and show. When you see that right there, I had to, somebody had already done this. I bought this used, and somebody had done kind of a crummy job of they just took a rasp or something like that and just filed half of it down, and so it was rubbing on the other half. So I basically had to do some sanding and all that. Not a big deal, but I learned quite a bit in terms of setting up the trem. And you have to reset the whole guitar, unfortunately, re-intonate and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it was fun times. Fun times. Yep. Yeah, and Monty, I didn't shim it. Yeah, stock is the word. Yep. Okay. Anyway, let's give this a shot. I'm going to try and go down. We're going to here. This is not Christmas music, but hope you enjoy. Here's just a little bit of improv over a cool chord progression, I think. Okay, let's give it a little bit now. Do some sixth. We did some sixth. All right, one more time through and then we'll quit. All right. That one I can play for hours. I love that kind of stuff. All right. So, okay. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Mark Rittenauer. Well, that one's the key center's going all over the place. And it's actually pretty fun. That one's a really good practice because it's just the same loop all over. And it's pretty normal chord changes. It's obviously jazzy, but it's basically a 2-5-1 in C. It starts out. C is sort of the tonal center. It starts out with a 2-5-1 in C. So we got D minor 7 and then a G7 chord or something like that, and then a C chord. See, I'm playing a C major 7. And then it goes to a diminished. Now you can play a C sharp diminished. Sounds good. All right. And then we'll do it again. It's going to start at another 2-5. And let me see. I've got my notes here. Yeah. And then we'll go back to the G7 and the C. All right, the C major 7. But now it's going to switch to an F major 7 chord, and so it plays the 2-5 preceding that. Common jazz trick. So a G minor 7 to a C dominant, right? This is a C ninth I just played. F major 7. Now here's a cool chord. A flat. So that's a minor third up. Smoke on the Water, actually. All right, so it goes to that A flat. Okay, now to a C. And now a very common thing, you go down a minor third and play the 7th. A7. So all those are kind of common in jazz, and El Rondo would know since he plays all that Django stuff. That's in the song All of Me. You play that sort of a progression. And then it just ends on a 2-5-1. So D minor 7, a G7 or a G7 altered, and then a C chord, some C major E chord. It ends there. But yeah, if in All of Me, in the thing at the end of All of Me, that's usually in the key of C. It goes from an F to an F minor, and you should be able to see that an F and an F and an F, that an F minor and an A flat are very similar. And if you think about it, here's an F minor, and here's an A flat chord. Actually, when we play it up here on the top of the neck, there's an F minor and there's a A flat major triad. Very similar chords, right? All right, anyway. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. So when you play an F major and then you go to that A flat minor, it feels like you're changing key, right? That's cool. And then in All of Me, it goes from the C to that A7. And if you listen to these things, you'll find that that's actually a pretty common progression. All right, anyway. Good stuff, good stuff. I like it. All right, so let's see. Robbie Love says, real, not licensed Bigsby. So we're talking about Bigsby's and stuff like that. That's cool. Hey, I had a series of worsts for today for the weird questions, and we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how it happens. So I had, so maybe we can just talk about some good things that happened this year at the end of this, because let's leave it there. And I just want to give a shout out to Dave, who's here today, 3-Card Monty. We're all happy that you're here and you're feeling healthier. I know it was a bad year health-wise for you, but hopefully you've turned the corner completely, and we're really glad we see you today. So that's awesome. Awesome, Dave. Great. So I thought it might be a good point of discussion to ask about whether or not what do you guys think are some of the worst top songs ever? So we could either do it by album, like pick a really great album and say what's the worst song on it. That would be fun. Or we could talk about why don't we do that? Why don't we start out with that? So I mentioned Led Zeppelin. Actually, why don't we start out with songs, because that's a little bit easier. So why don't we pick songs that were big songs, but we're popular, but we're really bad. So I'll give you an example. Oh, okay, so TBA is saying Brandy. And GMAX says Werewolves of London. Wow, okay. Muskrat Love. Okay, so Nemo Unknown, I think, man, you really nailed that one. I agree. Muskrat Love is like an inexplicable hit. I actually like Brandy, and I like Werewolves of London for about a minute. GMAX says Blinded by the Light. Okay. Oh, Take a Look at My Girlfriend. Yeah, Supertramp. Oh, Scooter C. You nailed that one. Moody Blues Singer in a Rock and Roll Band. So I don't know. Yeah. Bird, bird, bird is a word, says El Rondo. Taylor Swift, You Need to Calm Down. I don't know that one. Holy Shnikes. I like that phrase. TBA likes Muskrat Love. I actually do like the bridge to Muskrat Love. I don't like the payoff. There's a horrible payoff on that one. But and that Barbie song, huh? GMAX says revved up like a deuce. Another runner in the night. Topo Chico says, all of my love. Hey, Topo Chico, glad to have you on. All of my love, Led Zeppelin. Really? I actually like that song. I don't love it, but I like it. I don't think it's one of their best, but I think it was a decent one. I actually prefer from that album, Fool in the Rain. That's my favorite on that song, on that album. Let's see. Later Chicago says that. All right. Sugar Sugar says Studio Deluxe. Honey, the Archies. Yeah. Yeah, I have to admit I always turn that one off. Yeah, Gear, I think you're right. That synth is dated. And Scooter C comes through with Dust in the Wind too. I kind of like it, but it's so overplayed, and then it's like takes itself way too seriously, I think. Three Card Monty says 25 or 6-4. Wow. I think those are fighting words. I love that song. I think that's a great song. uh, in the evening. Oh, in the evening's good too. I like that too. When the Day is Done. Jump by Van Halen. I don't mind Jump. The words are incredibly stupid. I heard an early guy kind of sing it really slowly on an acoustic, and that was fun. But let's see. But definitely some Van Hagar. I'm trying to think of the, not Is This Love or Can This Be Love? I don't know. There's one that's really lame. Why Can't This Be Love is okay, actually. It's a different one I'm trying to think of that was a hit. Let's see. George. Oh, SBJ says George Harrison songs. I'm guessing SBJ are going to get some flame for that one. Okay. Not a fan of Revolution by the Beatles. I certainly turn off Revolution number 9. Okay. Dave says he likes 25 or 6-4. No problem. Scooter C says, Hey Jude. Oh, man. Now, it's interesting that I think people come down on Let It Be. Hey Jude, I think, is the better version of Let It Be. I don't know. Of those two songs, I think of them kind of similarly. Clearly McCartney's songs, and I think Hey Jude is much better of those two. And it's maybe just me. I don't know. I like that. I don't know if I like Hey Jude or Hey Dude better. I was kidding. All right. So let's see. So the songs that people usually point out are things like We Built This City by Jefferson. I think it was just Starship at that point. It wasn't even Jefferson Starship. I think it was just Starship then. Let's see. Both Let It Be and Hey Jude are complete classics. I like them both. I tend to like Hey Jude a little bit better. I think it's just because I was influenced by Lennon. Lennon didn't like Hey Jude. I mean, Lennon didn't like Let It Be. He thought it was goofy and he didn't do any part of it, apparently. All right. Any Neil Diamond, says Studio Deluxe. Really, Solitary Man you don't even like? I gotta admit, Sweet Caroline, one of those things that just drives me nuts. Drives me. I used to hate when I'd get that request. Hate it. All right, SBJ is there. Yeah. Oh, TBA says the same thing. Yeah, El Rondo. Yeah, I agree. I really hate that We Built This City. It's an earworm too. It's it's an earworm. It's hard to get out of your head once you hear it, and it's got that 70s or that 80s stuff. It's so. G-Max says disco duck. All right, Kentucky Woman's good too. I agree, Phil. I like Kentucky Woman. I don't like it as much as Kentucky Rain, but Three Card Monty says any Bruce Springsteen. Really? I understand why people don't like why some people don't like Bruce Springsteen. But any is, I think, a push. A horse with no name. The only thing, I don't really like listening to a horse with no name, but I like that it's basically a 2-chord song and that they made it interesting. I think that's pretty cool. Garrett says, I really like Led Zeppelin's first 2 albums and the 4th one, plus In Through the Outdoor. But I do think they are the most overrated band, and most of the tracks are utterly forgettable. Wow. Wow. I don't know. They were pretty darn influential, and yeah, I don't know. Hard to disagree more with that statement. It's sort of, I think it's sort of like overrating Van Gogh. Can't be done. Can't be done. I mean, some of their stuff is it did get sort of long and throwaway. Not throwaway, but just kind of droning and not all that unique. But lots of great ideas through, I think, Houses of Holy, and then they slowed down a bit. But even, I have friends who are really into presence and physical graffiti. I respect their stuff. Out on the Tiles. I'm not a huge fan of that Gib, but I get it. I get it. Wow, that's hard to believe. When I was in high school, I used to argue with people that the Who were better than Led Zeppelin, and I feel that I was utterly today looking back, I feel like I was utterly wrong about that. I don't think the Who is even close to as good. Tone Seeker. All right. Yeah, Elf Hermie, I think you're back to some real. I mean, I think we can all agree, Achy Breaky Heart. Is that right? It's fun to play. I didn't know that. Van Gogh is highly overrated. Okay, well, there you go. There's TVA for you. Let's talk about all the other overrated things. Beatles. Beatles, Mozart, creme brulee, Lafroig whiskey, Lagavulin, 24-year-old Macallan. All right, anyway. Levee breaks. Yeah, any polkas. Love it. The Who are miles better than Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I just have to disagree. I like The Who. I really love The Who. I grew up with them. I relate to them, especially Quadrophenia. I still think Quadrophenia ranks very high, but I just think as a group they weren't really close. They're big. They're definitely big. The Who live is better than Led Zeppelin live. Well, certainly today that's true. The real Johann Strauss polkas. Good stuff. All right. Robert Plant's voice kind of hurts my ears. Yeah, it's interesting. I think Robert Plant in the beginning, I mean, he clearly lost what he had. He can't do what he could do way back when. And Daltrey's voice stood up. But I think that's probably the biggest difference between Led Zeppelin and The Who is much better singer. I know a lot of people disagree with that one, but I think Plant was just so unique and had that really sensitive voice, hit really interesting notes, understood the blues better. All right. And, of course, Page and Townsend. Townsend's a great player, but Page, and then Bonham and Moon. I don't know. It's interesting. But I think just on one-to-one comparisons, it's not fair for that kind of stuff. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get off the Who and Led Zeppelin. Let's see. Any Allman Brothers post Duane? Yeah, I really don't get into the Allman Brothers after Duane. American Pie. Oh, yeah. If we were going to talk about overrated songs, that's another one I used to hate when I play in the coffee houses. Can you do American Pie? Please no. I used to always do that, actually. I used to always do that one just because people loved it so much. Kiss are actually the most overrated. All right, Garrett. I think that's a very redeeming, with me, I think that's a very redeeming comment. I like that. Daltrey was a poet. Well, I'm not sure. Is that right that he was really a poet? I know he was a fly fisherman. He didn't write any of the lyrics to The Who, but anyway, would have been good if he did. It's all words and music were all Townsend. Let's see. Townsend was a great writer. I don't know. I hate to say who's better. I hate that stuff. All right. What about, all right, if you want to talk about crummy, let's get off Led Zeppelin. Let's get off The Who. Let's get off even Supertramp. What about Susudio? Susudio. That was a #1 hit. Oh, Frank Rizzo comes up with Jimmy Buffett. Oh, I agree. Oh, and P says Starry, Starry Night. Okay, so TBA, there I'm going to agree with you on the song Starry, Starry Night. Yes, Van Gogh, highly overrated. That song, that song does it for me. God, I hate that song. Uh, all right, TBA says The Doors. I think it's interesting. I think a lot of people really love The Doors or think that they're great. I kind of went in and out. I think when I was in high school, I got into Jim Morrison and that kind of stuff. Is he actually alive? Kind of stuff. But I don't know. I like maybe one or two of their songs, but I think most of the time it's hard for me to listen to. He sang it like a poet. There you go. Okay. Hey P, what's your favorite Who song? What are some of your favorite Who songs? Is that right? So Three Card Money says I heard Jimmy Buffett is a PITA, a pain in the butt to play for. I think a lot of people probably are. My guess is that many rock stars are not very nice people and expect a lot. Yep. Yeah, I would. There's Phil. Phil likes the Doors. That's great. Jimi Hendrix is still alive. He's Morgan Freeman. Yardbirds. Uh, oh, I see. Tone Seeker says he agrees about Kiss. Yeah, I want to rock and roll all night, but I mean, that's all they really were. They were just kind of good time rock and roll. And Beth, yeah, Beth is on it all the time. Boy, I hate that song. Oh, yeah. Robbie Love says Quadrophenia and Tommy are awesome. I don't love Tommy. I don't. I love the concept, but I don't love much of it. I like Christmas a lot. That song, 1921 is good. 905. My name is 905 and I'm glad to be alive. From the Who Are You album. All right, let's see. Beth, yeah, got it. Better You Bet from 81. Interesting. That's a Kenny, was it Kenny Jones? That was when Keith Moon was already dead. All right. Sparks. I used to get into Sparks and all that kind of stuff. Not into it anymore. The Live at Leeds stuff. That was cool how they did it live at Leeds. That kind of stuff. Oh, there we go. Jenny, 8675309. Oh, somebody said The Dead, huh? Grateful Dead. Uh, Interesting. Tom Waits, is that singing? Phil M says Tom Waits. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. I don't know. I have one of his the Mule sessions, and I love it. I love some of those songs. I think they're just so real and so tuneful. But I definitely understand if people don't like it. I agree. Tom Waits is a weird kind of taste. See. Johnny Rivers, decent guitar player. ELO. There we go. Okay, so a lot of people are saying ELO. So El Rondo, like me, likes ELO, but a lot of people think they're one of the worst choices for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So there you go. A lot of people think that. And certainly their stuff is produced in a way that feels it's not it ain't roots rock. It ain't roots rock. Yeah. All right, so GMAX says cashmere. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? There's so many things that I like and I hate, right? So, I mean, I think I'm not arrogant enough to think like that there's a lot of stuff that I think is guilty pleasure music. And there's a lot of stuff that I might not like that I think is actually good. Like I think the Doors are good. They're definitely unique, but I don't like them. That doesn't mean I think they're terrible. And I think the whole overrated discussion is is uh, is kind of a tough one. If people are creating unique things that other people really enjoy and they're musical enough, then I think they work. So I don't know. I hate this. I it reminds me of that discussion, and it's one of the reasons why I said Van Gogh overrated, is because not it is because of that discussion in Manhattan. If you haven't seen Woody Allen's film Manhattan, you should see that discussion, which ends in the Philadelphia discussion as well. Foreigner Jukebox Hero. That's an interesting choice. Can we all agree on rap slash hip hop? For the most part, I agree, Phil. So Robbie Love clearly likes the Grateful Dead as well. I'm not a huge Grateful Dead fan, but I agree that a lot of their stuff was different and it was interesting. Yeah, yeah. And they left behind a catalog that's really interesting and amazing. It's hard to find their songs in the sea of all these live performances. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Cashmere. So wasn't Cashmere sounds like a Page song for sure. That sounds like a Page. It's probably Page Plant. It really sounds like it to me, anyway. And I like 10 Years Gone too from that same album. I think that's on the same album, isn't it? All right, it's on Physical Graffiti. All right. Okay. Well, I don't know. ELO. I could talk a lot about ELO. I know a lot of ELO, and I like a lot of ELO. I love the the one that had a terrible cover with the ruby slippers, El Dorado, and that was not the most popular. All right, let's get off of this discussion because it's getting me down. Let's talk about good things. So, what were some of the good things that? Oh, speaking of which, and I know there's a lot of Beatles fans on here, but do we all agree that "Wonderful Christmas Time" is not your favorite Christmas song? But I got to admit, it's an earworm, right? So McCartney knew what he was doing. He created this earworm. When I hear it, it's hard for me to get it out of my head all day. It's kind of like It's a Small World. And I feel about the same. All right. Anyway, I had some other things that were up that were huge hits that I think are some of the worst ones, and you can tell me what we think about it. We Built This City is one of them. Yeah, right. That's Wonderful Christmas Time is McCartney only. It's not the Beatles. But so We Built This City. I already talked about that one. Okay, Santa Baby. So slide on down the chimney tonight, Santa Baby. Oh God, my wife likes that song. Thinks it's funny. Okay, here's something that I think is definitely hit like number one, but it's terrible. Is this song? I'm probably gonna get it back. Is Silly Love Songs? God, I hate that song. That's another McCartney. I'm not gonna come down on McCartney anymore because I love McCartney, one of my favorites ever. But boy, do I hate that song. Let's see. Okay, beyond that, here's what I also had of were my worst ones. So I said, We Built the City, Silly Love Songs, Mr. Roboto. How about that one? How about Mr. Roboto? I love what Tommy Shaw said about it. He said, I wanted to keep in sticks, but I couldn't think of any more songs about robots. I love Mr. Roboto. You're kidding me, man. Oh, Alf, you're killing me. Yeah, I agree, Phil. Phil M says this is why it's all great. Something for everyone. Agreed. Okay. All right. How about this one? Susudio. I said that one. Stinks. Sticks. Okay. Yeah. How about Susudio? Does anybody really like that Phil Collins song? I mean, I actually don't hate Phil Collins in the '80s. He came up with some pretty amazing stuff that was a hit, and he just kind of got out of hand. But Susudio, ugh, that one makes me want to vomit. Now I'm not talking about today's stuff like Justin Bieber, Baby, or stuff like that. That doesn't even count. I think that's, to me at least, that's along with rap, or Gangnam Style. Doesn't count. It's just so bad. Who Let the Dogs Out? That's like Heinz. That's like the Who's Heinz Baked Beans. It's just a joke song. It doesn't count. Uh, Robbie, I didn't think of Gary Newman Cars. Oh, that's a good one. I hate that song too. Okay, last one I'm gonna mention is this is Sergeant Pepper's. Not the song, but the album. Worst ever. I'm gonna wait for the crying here. But Scooter, so people who are wondering what I'm talking about, Sergeant Pepper's is actually obviously one of the greatest albums ever. I'm talking about the Bee Gees Peter Frampton one. That's the one I'm talking about. That was horrible, and nobody should have done it. So that's what I'm talking about. Didn't I like the movie? you know, I was young enough to be reading what the hell was it called, like Tiger Beat, or some of those teeny bopper magazines back then. Somebody gave me one and they showed me the Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees, and I just got so mad. I boycotted that and the wacky costumes. Yeah. No, actually, Sergeant Pepper's does have some weird songs on it. Benefit of Mr. Kite and even Fixing a Hole. Although I like that song, is a little bit weird, but it has some. I mean, She's Leaving Home. What? That's such a beautiful song, and Sergeant Pepper's itself obviously was a huge breakthrough album. So I was just mostly saying that to be provocative, but hopefully you can agree that the Bee Gees and Peter Frampton didn't quite come up to what the Beatles did. Oh no! Oh, Garrett, that must have been terrible. Yeah, the Aerosmith cover was terrible. I agree, Frank. Yeah, there were a bunch of bands on there. All right. Well, anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day. And I really do think it was really nice of you all to come on today. And Merry Christmas to everybody. You know what we should talk about just to end it up? What do you think are some of the best? What do you think are some of the best Christmas songs that are sort of, contemporary Christmas songs? And I don't mean, hey, it just came out this year. But I'll check that out. So why don't we just kind of end it on that, and have a good, and then we can have a Merry Christmas, and we'll take on the Hanukkah stuff. So by the way, I'm not talking about Coventry Carol and things or Deck the Halls. I'm talking about things. Oh man, Fender Man comes in Can Daddy Looked a Lot Like Santa by Buck Owens? That's a funny one, yeah. Jingle Bell Rock is really good. I like that one too. It's fun. Father Christmas by the Kinks. I love that song. It's so funny, isn't it? Father Christmas, give us some money. I love that song. It's so perfect for the Kinks. Waitresses, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Guess I'll something or other this year. Yeah, my wife likes that song, the Waitresses Christmas song. Yeah, I think I did a version of "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree," didn't I, last time? I like Hank Garland. Hank Garland plays the guitar on that. If you don't know Hank Garland, look him up and listen to all his stuff. He is awesome. Hillbilly jazz at its best. Sleigh Ride. I don't know that one. Oh, Happy Christmas, War is Over. Garrett, that is a lovely song, and it works. And so this is Christmas. That is a lovely song. I don't know. Savvy Symbiont, I do not know Billy Idol Christmas songs. I don't know that. Thank you, RMG. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Ron Shack, his grandma got run over by a reindeer. I love that one. I love although I have to say that the silver and blue candles, being the same as the color of her hair, doesn't really have the same ring now that everybody has blue hair. Used to be just the older ladies that would have the blue hair. But I love that. As for me and Grandpa, we believe. The Slade Christmas song. I don't know that one. Run, Run, Rudolph. So we've got to vote for Chuck Berry. Gotta like that one. Alice's Restaurant. That's more of a Thanksgiving song, isn't it? I never thought that was Christmas, but there you go. Drummer Boy by Crosby and Bowie. That's kind of a traditionally sung song. I mean, I'll give you that one. It's nice for sure. It's interesting, and it was Bowie doing it along with Greg, Bing Crosby. So let's see. I Believe in Father Christmas. Greg Lake. That's a good song. That's fun. Pretenders singing Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Again, to me, I like that, but I got to go with the original Judy Garland. I love that so much. That's a beautiful song. Lovely song. Who wrote that? Was that a Rodgers and Hart? I don't think so. That's from the song Meet Me in. That's from the musical Meet Me in St. Louis, of all things. Go Tell on the Mountain doesn't count, Ron. That's an old one. That's an old one. It's a religious one. I'm not talking about that. It counts, of course, but it counts, of course, but that's what we're talking. Oh, the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler. Oh, no, thank you. Oh, no, thanks. All right, all right. Yeah, Judy Garland's version of "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" is beautiful, beautiful. If you don't know that one, look it up. Enjoy. All right, gang. I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna Santa Cutie. Yeah, I think some GMAC already said one. I'm gonna head off. Thank you all for coming here today. I really want to thank RMG, Geert, Phil M, Robbie Love, Gibb, Tone Seeker, Mark Siebes, Fenderman, Frank Rizzo, Matt, Elf, so many of the others who are SB, Ron, thank you. And of course, Geert and TBA, if I didn't mention that, as always great to have all of you on. If I forgot to, Topo Chico, thank you so much for being on today. Haven't seen you before, Studio Deluxe. Great to see you. It's great to see everybody. And I wish you all a happy Christmas and just a lovely holiday season. Enjoy it with loved ones and relax a little bit. And hopefully can let some of the crazy world go out for just a little bit. We'll see you next week. It's probably going to be a short one next week because I've got my sister and all her crazy kids over, along with my crazy kids, so it'll be fun. All right. Oh, GMAC, man, I forgot to say Merry Christmas to you as well, and or Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate. It's all good. Okay. All right. Take care. We'll see you on down the road.